Okay, so here's an interesting case. Let me just get right to the article. Judge rules against majority of claims in black students' hair discrimination case. Which, when you read that headline, you think, what the hell does this judge have against black hair? But it becomes very interesting when you get into the specifics. So, a federal judge has dismissed most of the claims in a lawsuit filed by a black Texas high school student who alleged that school officials had violated his civil rights by insisting he cut his hair to fit school policy. And, technically, if it's school policy, he should have known that because they already there are schools that have things like dress codes. Some even have dress uniforms. Now, regardless of whether you think it actually accomplishes what it's supposed to, is a different story. But if there is a dress code, but it gets interesting as to how this judge actually allows this suit to continue. Daryl George's battle with Barbers Hill High School in Mont Belvieu, a town roughly 40 minutes outside of Houston, began last summer when he faced numerous in-school suspensions over his natural locks. School officials said George's locks fell below his eyebrows and earlobes. Oh dear God, my nephews would have been in so much trouble if this was the dress code at their school. Wow. According to local media reports, which violates the district's dress code for male students. Now, I can understand worrying about gang affiliation, so, you have to dress a certain way. But hair length? I'm sorry, what? All right, the man has long hair. I fail to see why that should be a problem. Why they're even putting hair length in a dress code. George missed most of his regular classes in his junior year, spending the day in in-school suspension. He has to sit on a stool for 8 hours in a cubicle, Daryl's mother, Darisha George, told the Associated Press at the time. That's very uncomfortable. Every day he'd come home, he'd say his back hurts because he has to sit on a stool. Now just think about this. He's in high school. He should not be having back problems yet. My question is, why are they making him sit on a stool? Seriously. You're already giving him an in-school suspension. Why are you making him sit in the most uncomfortable way possible? I mean, it sounds just horrible. And for a very stupid reason. As a result, George and his mother sued the school district, the district superintendent, his principal and assistant principal, as well as Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton for violation of the state's Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair, which bans race-based hair discrimination. Alright, he might have overshot this a little bit, but can't fault the guy for trying. Because let's face it, as these cases go, you want to spread a wide net and it slowly goes down to what you pretty much wanted to begin with. George was initially suspended just a day before the Texas law went into effect statewide on September 1st of last year. In the Tuesday ruling, U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Brown dismissed the claims against Abbott, Paxton, and the district and school employees. Brown also dismissed claims that enforcement was primarily being done against black students, as well as the claim that Georgia's First Amendment rights had been violated as a result of the district policy. The judge said the school had not shown a persistent, widespread practice of disparate race-based enforcement with its policy. Now, but it does get interesting. If it sounds like, well, what did he save of the lawsuit? It gets good. When it came to the free speech claim, he determined there was no precedent to demonstrate that hair length is supported under the First Amendment. Well, technically hair isn't speech, so I can see why that isn't a First Amendment violation, but at the same time, people should be able to wear their hair the way they want. But yeah, technically not First Amendment. However, Georgia's claim of sex discrimination stood, and this is where things get really good. In his ruling, Brown wrote, "What is the rationale for the dress code's distinction between male and female students? Because the district does not provide any reason for the sex-based distinctions in its dress code. The claim survives this initial stage." And that makes sense, because I assume that if they don't regulate a woman's hair, they certainly do not have a problem with women having long hair. And who knows, maybe if a woman did try to have a cute pixie cut or something, maybe the school district would lose their damn minds. But the fact that women are allowed to have long hair, but men aren't? Seriously, what's the problem with men having long hair? I assume that the people who crafted this policy never lived through the 70s or the 80s, because that was a very popular hairstyle for men, is to have long hair. And actually, personally, I like long hair on men. So I don't understand why there was even a distinction. And obviously this judge is saying the same thing. So, yes, he didn't get all those other goodies he wanted, but this sounds like the gist of the claim. It's like, okay, why are you singling me out when there's all these women who wear their hair longer than mine and they don't nobody goes after them? And it's because there's this societal idea that women are supposed to have long hair and men aren't. And I don't know why that is, because that's stupid. If men like long hair, go for it. If women like short hair, go for it. I see no reason, absolutely zero reason, why there should be a dress code where women have to have long hair and men have to have short hair. Because I understand that dress codes initially were because schools were afraid about potential gang violence. I'm not aware of women gangs having specifically short hair or male gangs specifically having long hair. There might be people in gangs who do that, but that's not a representative of the gang. It's just what a person likes. So, Brown acknowledged that the state's case had its issues, invoking a similar case from 1970 in which the judge concluded that the presence and enforcement of the haircut rule causes far more disruptions of the classroom instructional process than the hair it seeks to prohibit. Brown wrote, "Regrettably, so too here." And, yeah, again, why is that such a big deal? And why are you making such a big fuss over this kid having longer hair? I mean, to me, this invokes I think it was Catholic schools. Or it might have been just schools in the 60s, I don't know, where they would actually measure a girl's dress length to make sure her dress was long enough, especially once miniskirts became the fashion. Seriously, why? I fail to see why you have to regulate things to that extreme. That you are bringing out the freaking ruler and saying, oh, your hair is this much too long. Seriously, what is that benefiting? I mean, it just makes zero sense. So I love it that they went with that tact that, okay, yeah, you can regulate hair, fine. But why are you regulating hair for men but not women? And again, it could be just simply that women can wear their hair long, or I don't know if it's just can or must. Given that they're really, really anal about men's hair, it wouldn't surprise me if they also had a dress code that women had to have long hair. And, most girls do have long hair, but not all, because they don't like it for whatever reason. I stopped having long hair, and my hair went down to my tailbone. When I was, I don't know, 7th grade, I decided to cut my hair. Disappointed my father greatly, but he's one of those who thinks men should have short hair and women have long hair, but whatever. So, I don't know if it's because they think that's how men and women should look, and they think that they should police societal norms. Dude, they're teenagers. They're not going to go by societal norms just because they're societal norms. They're going to do what feels right to them. I just don't see why you have a problem with men having longish hair. Because from what I understand on the article, he didn't exactly have long hair. He just had, hair that you could actually move. Like bangs and over his ear. But, basically probably my length at most. Okay, so what's the problem here? Why are we even delegating how short men's hair can be? I could think of if you're talking about dress code, I could think of a lot of things that are more important than that. Like, making sure that they don't wear their caps in such a way that signifies a gang affiliation. I could see that being a thing. I could see not wearing certain symbols anywhere on your body. I don't agree with that, but I can understand why it's being done. So I can see that, but what is longish hair going to do? It's not like the kids in the class are going to ignore their studies and sit and stare at the kid who has long hair. I mean, they're just gonna maybe initially notice his hair, comment on it if they like it or if they dislike it, and then go about their day. Nobody is going to live, he's not going to live rent-free in anybody's head simply because he has long hair. That's just not going to happen. And if it does, then that other person has issues, because hair shouldn't be something that you are dwelling on. It's just stupid. So, I believe that is all I have for this article. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.